Welcome to More Than Mindset, the only podcast that bridges the gap between spirituality and success. Go beyond the mind with clarity and confidence coach Kim Guillory and learn how to integrate your passion to serve with your skills and experience to create a business you love. Let's get started.
Hey there, and welcome to episode 200 of the More Than Mindset show. Guys, that's crazy. 200 straight weeks I have recorded a podcast. Seriously. There's one other one that actually got removed, but just to say that's a long time. That's how many years? It's 52 weeks in a year? I'm kind of proud of myself. So I thought this was going to be this monumental, what are we going to do that's special and different? And like, what's going to be the big blowout party? And then I realized it's just a number. So yes, I can celebrate, but I should be celebrating every single week that I get one of these out. And that got me thinking about, like, even for today's show, of all of this is made up. It's all made up. Numbers, what we think is special, unique, different, how we decide what's worthy of celebrating, if we decide if we're worthy. So I've been reflecting on this. It's all made up. Numbers, prices, dates, time. This is what the humans do. They make up stuff and they make it a thing. And then we try to conform to it, right? And we were talking about this with my team this morning. And I was like, okay, my meditations the last few weeks have been mind-blowing. So I've been getting these little hints, these little phrases that just like pop through that are brilliant. And this particular thing came about in the tub. And so that's what I'm going to talk about in today's show. This is my 200th episode. It's all made up. So what do you want to make up and believe about yourself? What do you want to create? Like, what do you want to make up that is a possibility for you? Seriously, think about this. Think about being 4 years old and playing with a Barbie house, or like you just get to make up your life, right? I've got my purse. I'm going to Walmart, right? Little kids just making stuff up. And so you open the Barbie house or whatever the Mattel toy is, and you make up your future. You make up your life. You decide or you determine what you want to believe, mostly but what we saw our parents do or our friends do, or what, we saw in our environment. But they're literally making this stuff up. Little kids are making up stories, and we tell them not to. And yet, as adults, we live in a made-up world. It's kind of blowing my mind. So today, I'm going to tell you about my word I made up. And by the way, it's not my first word. I actually made up another word. But the word for today is trijectory. It just came just like that. It was super simple. I was like wondering how to teach like a simplified version of the punchline approach to the new students in Self-Healing Masters and in eSchool, people who have not been working with me, because most of my clients and coaches have been with me for years. So they kind of get my language, my made up language. And when we get new clients coming in, they don't know this about me. They haven't been with me long enough to watch the evolution of this new language. And I was thinking and talking to the team this morning about this new word, which is like TRI, which is three. At first it was like trio. I thought trio. And then jectory. So the trajectory, and I can read the definition because I looked it up and played with it. The trajectory is like the path, and tra is the through, like the throughway to the path, right? And I'm going to read it. A trajectory is the path of an object through space, or the path of life that a person chooses. There is an important distinction between a path and a trajectory. A path is a spatial construct and tells us how we get from A to B through the world. A trajectory is a path plus schedule. It tells us how quickly we should move along the path, at what time we should be at what point along the path. So it is the path followed by a projectile flying or an object moving under the action of given forces. What? Fascinating, right? So I'm always thinking of like the meanings of words and kind of breaking them down. But trajectory comes up a lot in coaching and especially in belief work and what we want to create. And I was thinking about what creates that? Like, what is it made up of? And of course, what you believe. So we have thoughts. Let me just go there first. A thought is like a phrase or a sentence or a word that comes out of your mind. Like it's just like bubbles, like little farts from your brain. Like, matter of fact, in transcendental meditation, the teaching is how thoughts are just releases. It's just releases leaving the body. And sensations are just releases. So it's really fascinating to bring all of this together. So if thoughts are just words or little bubbles coming out of your head, out of your mind, but they have no meaning unless you actually believe them. So that's the difference between a thought and a belief. A belief is a thought multiple times that's now attached to an emotion, because then when the mind produces the thought, and then the body has a sensation that follows it, it's kind of locked in, right? You can go back to the earlier episodes where I talk about the emotional signature. And so therefore it's now a belief because the mind is like, no, I have evidence. I feel it. It's true. It's real. I know, right? And so a belief is like your truth, what you know to be true in this point in time. The belief is I have evidence, I have sensation, there's a connection, it's legit. This is for real. T with a truth with a big T, right? So we first have beliefs, and then we have sensation, emotions, feelings. So you believe a certain thing, I can't do this, and then you feel afraid or anxious or panicked or overwhelmed. Well, the feeling has more impact and more power than the thought. We can walk around just changing our thoughts, and it has no impact on our actions unless it's compelled by a feeling. So we think a thought, we feel a feeling, and then we take an action following that feeling. Think about this. I don't feel like working out. I don't feel like eating that. I don't feel like doing that right now. What's actually making the decision of what actions you're going to take? The way you feel, not the way you think. Otherwise, we'd be doing like crazy actions all day long because we think all kinds of things. The action does not follow the thought. It's the momentum created from the belief that stimulates a feeling that creates inspired action that creates a result. So the trajectory is the belief, the thought, the feeling, the belief, the feeling, and then the inspired action, the action inspired by the feeling, therefore creates that path, that journey, the thing that we create in the world, the person that we become, the thing that we make or make up. So I was like sitting with this. I was like, is this legal? Can I make up a word? And Emily said, well, selfie is a made up word. Like that was not a thing years ago. And I was like, oh my God, this is so true, right? So I will get to what my other word was, but I really want to stay with teaching about this because it's part of what I'm doing in Self-Healing Masters by recreating this library and these modules and the understanding of how to change your beliefs, how to change your belief system, and how to change and stay in the inspired action by keeping the momentum. We're in control of that. And it's following desire, but you have to know how to create desire. Desire leads everything. I desire to lose weight. I think about losing weight. I feel what it would feel like to lose weight. Therefore, I am inspired to get my butt to the gym. I'm inspired to get out of bed. I'm in inspired action to create that trajectory. My belief, my feelings, and then my action. That's what's going to create that course of becoming. Isn't that fascinating? I'm having so much fun with this. So this is my celebratory 200th episode and the new word that has been, and maybe I shouldn't even take credit for it because it's probably just consciousness that said, hey, it's time to take this word out into the world. And so I can't name the podcast this because then it won't be searchable because no one's looking for it. But the thing that's leading to this is my clients in eSchool were asking, how do we stay in momentum? How do we keep momentum alive? How do we continue taking inspired action without going back into the limiting beliefs, without going into the doubt and the fear and the confusion and the overwhelm? Well, first of all, let's talk about what creates that. Your belief that it's not happening fast enough, that it's not going to happen, that it's not going to work, that you're not doing it right, that you don't have the information that you need. That's what's creating the fear, the doubt, the disbelief, the lack of inspired action is coming from being in the problem mindset instead of the solution mindset. More on that later. I will do another show on that one. But so think about the thing that you want most. Is it improving your relationship? Is it improving your health? Is it making more money? Is it finally getting your business started? And then what is the reason that you think or the problem that you're trying to solve? Because very often we're trying to solve the wrong problem. Thoughts are not a problem to solve. You just have to recognize that you have a thought, and if it's attached to an emotion or a feeling, that is a belief. That's it. You just have to recognize it. Thoughts are not the problem. That's kind of why I have a problem with thought work, because we spend a whole lot of time thinking thoughts are the problem. But actually, thoughts just are. They're a circumstance. Thoughts are words, sentences, and phrases produced from my mind. They just spit out and they come in. Thoughts are not the problem. It's only when we attach to the thought, or whenever we have a feeling that's attached to the thought, and then the mind thinks it's connected. It must be true. It feels true. Therefore, I believe it's true. So the trajectory is recognizing that these three components are what is determining what you are creating. And you are in control. You can change it anytime you want. You just need the process. And luckily we have it. That's the punchline approach. You have to first get present and be in awareness and recognize that you are the creator of your reality. Nothing is happening without your permission, whether it's conscious, unconscious, or subconscious. It's all happening because of the trajectory. Please tell me you're mind blown, because I am. I'm having fun. I'm not mind blown. I'm more in excitement and playfulness and fun and non-attachment. Like, I don't care if it's a real word. Like, I'm not going to take it that seriously. And if we would quit taking things so seriously, we could have a lot more fun. We could play more. We could actually create more money because we wouldn't be caught up in the problem. We would be caught up in playfulness and momentum. We would be in desire. I desire to be playful. I desire to have fun. I desire to help healing focused entrepreneurs get their work out into the world. I desire to leverage the playing field between the $1 million marketer and infuse that information in the healing focused entrepreneur so they can take their work out into the world, so we can get more money into the hands of those people who want to serve more people, who want to change the trajectory by understanding the trajectory. All right. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sticking around for 200 episodes. I would love your feedback, your share. If there's anyone who you think would benefit from the show, understand themselves better, have more freedom and playfulness in their life, I ask you to share it. Let other people know about the show. Go back and listen to the previous episodes and just watch the evolvement from 1 all the way to 200. Thank you for celebrating with me. Thank you for listening today. And I didn't forget, I'm going to tell you the other word. The first word that I really think should go into the dictionary is simplical. And that's because the punchline approach, which is this, it's the path, the journey, the model of how to have power and control of your life is simple, it's practical, and it's applicable. Understanding this process can help you change any area of your life. It doesn't matter if it's health, if it's chronic pain, if it's physical conditions, if it's your relationship, if it's your money story, if it's changing your career, it doesn't matter because it's universal law. I think this is the law of attraction in action. It's breaking down the steps of exactly how to create the change that you want, how to really, like, I think of it like flowing with trajectory. How do you get into the flow of currency? Think of currency, think of money that moves through the world. It's energy. Think of it like a lazy river, and you're just flowing. Think of Abraham Hicks and the law of attraction. And they talk about just like going downstream. It's really easy. So you're in the current of the lazy river. You don't have resistance. Resistance is the thing that stops the trajectory. So when your beliefs are resisting your potential and you're not in momentum, then you won't be in inspired action. Then you won't be going downstream. You won't be carried by the flow of currency. So whenever we buck up against, because of these old beliefs or because of someone else's story that they told us, then we actually stop that flow. We don't move with it. So this process is simple. It's applicable in all terms, and it's simple, practical, and applicable. So the practical is you can use it. It's the how-to steps. So many people talk about transformation. So many coaches talk about business and changing your world, changing your life. But the actual how to break down what's happening between the mind and body, what's creating the results that you have now, and truly understanding that, I think is the path. Because we can't, or we'll continue to look for the problem if we can't understand it. So when you can get present, that's the trajectory, getting present and understanding that your thoughts and beliefs are creating sensations, and those sensations are compelling you and moving you into action or inaction, reaction or responding, right? Because what do? We bail out, we hide, we disconnect, or we move through the discomfort and we create something else. That's the P. The U is understanding the unconscious, knowing where this is coming from. Because once we can understand it, we start unpacking it, we start unveiling it, we start disconnecting the stories between fact and fiction, and we can see it, we have clarity. And then we can choose to change the neural pathway by navigating the old behavior with the new behavior. It's just an interruption. You want to interrupt the old patterns, you want to create new patterns, and then you want to create with curiosity. And that's where desire comes from. I desire. And then when I have that, I will feel this. And then when I have that, I will feel this. And you just keep growing that desire until you're rolling in or flowing with momentum. It's going to feel really good. And you just keep taking it up and taking it up and taking it up. And then before you know it, it's coming to you. You don't have to go and get it. It comes to you, but you have to stay and receive. You have to be able to have it. Call this havingness. You have to be able to receive. So the contrast is what determines I don't want it. So that's you saying what you do want. And then you grow that desire and that momentum. And then it comes to you and you have to stay. Most of us are not worthy of receiving. And that's why we don't stay, because we got all these thoughts about what people are going to think about us if we're successful or if we get what we want and what's going to happen to them. And am I leaving them behind? And they're not going to like me anymore. Guys, you got to recognize that, let it go, cut away, stay in the momentum, stay in the playfulness, and then start taking the inspired action. Choose, commit, cultivate as if it already were. Cut away what's not serving you anymore. Cut away the old beliefs, the old habits, the old behaviors, and then continue. Stay in the currency. So that's what I have for you this week. 200th episode. What? You know how many times I thought about discontinuing this over those 200 episodes? When I got to 50, when I got to 100, when I got to 150, I thought about it again at 175. It seems like about every 25 or 30 episodes, I question discontinuing. Like maybe I should just stop for a while. Maybe I should this will be the end of the season. Maybe I should rebrand or refocus or relaunch. And it's just a thought. I think about it and I just stay in momentum. And I love doing these. I love like even laughing at myself as this stuff comes through, because I actually am just open to receive. And that's where these words are coming from. That's where these ideas are coming from. And it's all made up anyway. Maybe we need to come back to our 4-year-old self and see what else we can make up. See what else we can create. See what other desires are there, instead of just doing the same old thing, regurgitating year after year, cycle after cycle, generation after generation. Woo! Let's go have some fun. All right. Until next week.
Thanks for listening to this episode of More Than Mindset.